Hi, this is Prelove, and I wanted to do a last video for today on like how do you know a fragrance is for you? Because it's an important topic when it comes to picking fragrances and starting a fragrance journey. When to know when it is for you? It's a complex question, but in general, it's very simple. It's just if you like a scent or not, and what effect does the scent has on you. There is sometimes scents that are like repulsive to you, like you should get away from those. But there's also scents that are like it draws you closer to your own self, and these are what you're looking for most of the time. There is also this thing about just picturing what the fragrance means to you. Like, I have been on a fragrance discovery activity once, and the girl that was making me test fragrances, making me smell them, was saying to me, now close your eyes and picture. Every time you smell a fragrance, picture what it means to you. What does it remind you of? Get a picture in your head of what it makes you feel, what it makes you imagine. And afterwards she was doing the same thing with only my positive images and saying, now smell it and imagine a moment where you're wearing this. Would you wear this? And these are two very good questions. What does it mean to you? And also, are you gonna wear this? When will you wear this? And in which situation would you wear this? The first question, it's just like you need to smell and be honest with yourself and just picture the first thing that comes to your mind. If this thing is positive, if this thing is associated with something that you think is positive, maybe a good memory, maybe things that you know that you like, then it's a first step. Afterwards, picture yourself wearing it. What are you doing? What is going on? If you can picture yourself, it's a good start. If you can picture yourself in a positive situation, it is an even better step. And I think it is essential that in all of the different stages, it always sums up to something very positive. I remember when I first smelled Neroli Outre Noir, which is one of my favorite fragrances ever right now. It is a Guerlain fragrance. When I smelled this, I was transported in the court of Louis the 14th in France, in the Baroque era. And immediately what came to my mind was the music of Jean-Baptiste Lully. These things are extremely positive for me because I am a harpsichord player and I really enjoy French Baroque music. It is probably my favorite type of music ever. Even though I love a lot of different musical styles. But this was very, very positive and I was thrilled. But I still needed to test and still needed to think, when would I wear this? And I immediately thought, if I was to do concerts, maybe singing concerts because I'm trying to become a classical singer, or maybe harpsichord concerts, or any kind of classical music, Baroque maybe concerts. I would certainly want to wear that. And I was like, is there some other times I would like to wear that? And I thought, sometimes I would like to wear that when I go by the water and feel very poetic. Sometimes I would like to have that when I'm with a large group of people and I want to make my presence felt, but in a very subtle and sensible way. These kinds of fragrances, like, I thought it represented me, this one, because it kind of shouts. It's very expressive. It's kind of loud. You make your presence felt in the room with that. But it's poetic and it's vulnerable and it's soft still. Even though it is very present, it is still soft. And this was it for me when I really put all the pieces of the puzzle together. I was like, I'm checking my budget, I'm gonna save, and I'm gonna buy that one. And I did. And it's a very incredible fragrance. Another of those moments, the first time I smelled Issey Miyake's L'Odyssée. I was starting out to do songs, folk songs, guitar and voice, that I was starting to write them. And my project, I wanted to be centered around Muguet, which is the lily of the valley, the flower. And this one had a really nice lily of the valley note in it that I could instantly recognize because I so love the scent of real lily of the valley. I have some at my parents' house, and every year I go and smell them because it's so good and it brings me back to good memories and everything. Now, when I smelled that, I was immediately transported to playing those songs that I was writing and being that very soft and vulnerable, but still masculine kind of guy. And it just bring me to a really nice spot, exactly where I wanted to be. And so since then I was thinking, I really should get that fragrance. It's very good. And it has never deceived me as of yet. Every time I wear that fragrance, I'm in love with that lily of the valley smell. I'm in love with the spiciness and the woods. It's an incredible smell. And other fragrances like that, like I said, La Nuit de l'Homme, Eau de Parfum by Yves Saint Laurent, evokes to me James Bond in a nice bar, maybe like trying to flirt or on a mission or anything. But that for me is something I like, being in a bar, and I like being that tall and very intriguing and mysterious guy that Sean Connery was, that Roger Moore was, that Pierce Brosnan was, that Daniel Craig is in those movies. So I was really interested in that fragrance because it brought me to that, and then no question asked on when should I wear this. It was in bars, or to feel James Bondish, or like wanting to have a martini, or it's a boozy fragrance. It's something that, so that's another hit, you know. It's something that I can clearly see myself wearing, and it brings me to that very nice zone that I enjoy being into. Sauvage brought me to that idea of myself as a very dark and intriguing man also, but in connection to his body and in connection with everyone else, and gets me that kind of almost vampire-ish vibe that I like, darkish vibe that I really enjoy, and very proud, very confident, and I really like that fragrance for that reason. And there's no object in knowing where should I wear that. It's just any time I could picture myself wearing that fragrance any time. So because it's so good, it's just something that smells like something that smells comfortable and good anytime, and something that I smell and that reminds me a bit of myself. So that's also a very, very good thing in the fragrance. Mon Précieux Nectar by Guerlain, which is another of my favorite fragrances ever, reminds me of Virginia Woolf, my favorite writer. It reminds me of my favorite time of the year, which is fall. It reminds me of all those things. I can see like the trees of fall. I can see myself reading To the Lighthouse. And this fragrance, I would see myself wearing that in a very comfortable situation. Maybe in a shack in the woods. Maybe with someone I love. And this fragrance is very warm, and I hope that people who can smell it, because it doesn't radiate that much. It's intimate. It's close encounters, really close. But when someone comes near, smells it, I think it's very good. And that's where I see myself wearing that. So, when you have done this effort, consider that maybe you'll be only buying one fragrance. Maybe you'll be having a collection. Maybe you'll be buying 3 because you want 3 specific situations. Know exactly what are you wanting to do. Are you wanting to be a collector, be someone who's doing a hobby, or are you just wanting to wear some very specific fragrances to have a signature scent? This is very different, because you need to picture yourself having that as a signature scent, which is not the same as picturing yourself in a very, very specific occasion. It's just not, it's not worth it if you're only picturing yourself in a situation where you cannot have fragrances, or you won't ever be in that situation, or things like that. You should consider that too. But less of the practical. You always need to think, does this fragrance bring me joy? Does this fragrance bring me confidence? This fragrance brings me everything that I need to have in a fragrance. Just think about it. Just think about how it fulfills, how it satisfies you. And just do not blind buy. Love a fragrance first, then buy it. You need to love the fragrance. You really need to love it, because you're gonna wear it. And by wearing it, you'll continue your relationship with the fragrance. And people will associate you and that fragrance and the effect that fragrance has on you, and it will stay. A fragrance should bring you confidence. A fragrance should push you towards self-love. Confidence, self-esteem is self-love. And when you love yourself, you can be generous with your love. You can spread love. But then, now you know you can also spray love. Bye-bye.